Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the show that shares with you everything that should be done before saying I do. My name is Walter Jennings.
And my name is Charmaine Jennings.
We're your Couples Academy practitioners. In our honor, our responsibility, our job is to help facilitate courageous conversations on dating and relationships.
Absolutely. And this show is meant to be interactive. So when we ask you to chime in, to share your experiences, your thoughts, or just ask us a question, right? Engage with us. We absolutely want you not to hold your peace, okay? We want you to actually speak. We want you to write us. We want you to engage with us.
Yeah, and we are in the midst of actually a very interesting series that we have been doing over the past few weeks, talking about should you date outside of your age range? And once again, we're talking about 10 years or more older or 10 years and more younger. So we focused on dating younger and dating older, but today we want to have a general conversation about what are some of the potential challenges and pitfalls and things that you can expect when you have an age gap, whether it's someone that's older or someone that is younger. And we really learned a lot when it comes to some of the things when you date younger or when you date older that are specific to that particular challenge. But there's some general things that when you decide to date outside of your age range that you can expect.
Absolutely. And so tonight we'll be talking about some of those things. I'm ready to get into some of the things that, just the things that people say and come out of their mouth. And I know you have those moments where you like, really? Did you think before you actually, the words came out of your mouth? Because sometimes you just want to look at them like.
But the fact of the matter is, we've all been in that situation before.
Yes.
Where even though we may not have been the individual that was dating or that younger or older person, when you saw someone that you thought they were romantically, there were certain generalizations, certain
stereotypes,
and what do you call them? Intrusive thoughts in your head that you thought about that particular relationship. And so that is something that we have to really guard against our own biases.
This is true.
And part of that is being mindful of them and acknowledging them. And so we've been talking about our Speak Now question of the night for the entire time that we've been doing this. And so we want to pose it to you. Have you ever dated someone significantly outside of your age range? That's someone that is 10 years your senior or 10 years younger than you. So have you ever dated anyone that was significantly younger or significantly older than you? What was your experience like? And the most important question is, would you do it again? And so I know that you and we had a conversation about this idea of dating for us. Primarily, before we met one another, we tended to date individuals that were older than us. Part of it was because of, for me, the environments and the things that I was in. I was always the youngest person. And so I always dated people primarily that were older than me. For you, it was more of a maturity.
Yes, intellectually mature, or just, someone that I could have a really deep conversations with, someone who was connected with their emotional space, their intellectual space. So for me, it was just about the intellectual maturity. So that was my preference, and that was my why.
Yeah. So part of the challenge that you have to prepare for when you are dating someone outside of your age range, especially again on the physical side, when people see you, things like, oh, is that your dad? Or is that your daughter? And so, and those things may come. And sometimes people are not necessarily trying to be malicious, but they just don't know. They're making a generalization again based off of what they see. And so it is a reflection of some of the things that you have to prepare for if you do choose to date outside of your age range. So we're going to go into, we have 6 general challenges that you will want to be aware of and be ready to combat when you get ready to date outside of your age range. So number 1 is you must be prepared to deal with stereotypes.
All right. So the most well-known negative stereotype associated with significant age differences between young women and older men is, of course, he has to be your sugar daddy, right? He has to be this dude. The only way he could get a young woman like this, is if he is dishing out the money, okay? He is paying her bills. He is making it rain. Yes, yes, yes. So the sugar daddy, right? Which is an older man who's financially generous to a younger woman in exchange for her company. It doesn't mean that she's giving up the goods or anything like that. It just means that just being seen with her, right, does him a solid. So he might pay her bills, he might give her money, things like that. And so also a younger man who's dating an older woman, that typical dynamic is attributed to a cougar stereotype, which infers that women, for us, it's primarily to pursue the relationship due to her sexual inclination. So the stereotypes attached with a woman dating a younger man is that, and of course, How Stella Got Her Groove Back years ago, that movie did not help. But, the assumption is I'm older, I need a younger man who knows how to work it and can take care of me. So the opinion of people, really, it shouldn't have a bearing on our choices in relationships. If you like someone, you guys have a connection, and you guys are really feeling each other, don't allow people's stereotypes and their opinions, assumptions. I like to say assumptions, and my oldest daughter can't stand when I say that. But, everybody say the first 3 letters of that word is ass. So, people, we often do that. We really make bad decisions when we assume things about other people in their relationship.
Yeah, it's important for us to not allow the opinions or the perceptions of other people to become our reality in our relationships. And so the opinion that people have of you or your relationship, it should have no bearing on who you choose to love and the happiness. That should not come from your public opinion, but you do have to know that your happiness and your decision won't stop sometimes those questions from coming. They won't stop people from staring. It won't stop people from making those generalizations. So you have to guard your relationship. And part of that is being sure and secure on why you are with the person that you are with. So that is really important in order to combat those stereotypes and not allowing them to get to you and your mate.
And we encourage couples to really think about those things beforehand. What is going to be your PR statement when a person says that, oh, is that your daughter? Like, think about what you would really say. And it's not about insulting them, because a lot of times people just don't know, right? People don't know. Like, we assume that they didn't wake up this morning with the intention of being rude, disrespectful, and hurtful, right? So use it as a teachable moment. I gotta take my glasses off, they're sliding off my nose. But, use it as a teachable moment, right? And so somebody says, oh, is that your daughter? It's like, you know what? Actually, this is the beautiful woman that's in my life, the woman who loves me, the woman who, I'm pursuing. And, since you must know, this is the person in my life who I love and I'm taking care of. No, this is not my daughter. This is, the woman in my life.
Absolutely. And to your point too, the things that we're discussing, these are things to help prepare you. If you do decide to date out of your age range, these are certain things that you will want to go ahead and start preparing for, and ask yourself the question if you are willing to actually go through these things with the person. And if not, you may want to consider not dating outside of your age range. And it also does say a lot about if you really care about that person, because if you do, there are certain things that you will make sure that you endure. Now, number 2, prioritizing and communication issues. Now, words often change meanings over generations, which can result in some humorous exchanges, but it can also lead to some communication challenges. For instance, to an older person that's hooking up with friends, to an older person would mean getting together. So hooking up to an older person may mean something totally different with a younger person. Exactly.
We're gonna literally
connect. So I'm gonna hook up with when you say to an older person, you say, hey, I'm hooking up with my girlfriends. Okay, it sounds like Charmaine may be living that Lebanon life. So
meaning I'm about to go have sex with my girlfriend instead of I'm just gonna
So you want to make sure that you synthesize your vernacular and not assume.
I see what you did there.
So you want to make sure that, again, you don't make assumptions, but you use it as an opportunity to really have a conversation to make sure that you're clear about exactly what it is that you're meaning. Now, if your mate is not pursuing clarity on that, that's a red flag, because what that means is they are taking those words and just transposing them in their own language rather than just asking for clarity on certain things. So it's very important that in order to bridge that gap when it comes to communication, that you have those conversations. Now, also, when you're finding something, for example, when we talk about prioritizing, let's say you and your mate, you're getting ready to go to a very important networking event for their job. Now, if you're younger, your priority may be finding the right thing to wear. You want to wear something sharp and snazzy. While your partner, I'm concerned about the conversation that you're going to have with my colleagues.
You better help me.
I'm going to be concerned about your interaction, and if you're able to hold a good, functional, coherent conversation with these people that I have to work with. And so, again, it's very important to have these conversations early on, not just assume, but even now with you and I in our relationship, when we get ready to do certain events together, Charmaine will pull me to the side and say, hey, we're going to this event. You're going to meet these people, you know, so-and-so, they may get personal with some of their questions. And so you may have to check them a little bit. This particular person, she can get a little flirty. She may put her hand on your shoulder. She can be a bit touchy-feely. Don't make me have to cut anybody. So having those conversations before you go into these situations are especially important when there's significant age difference.
Absolutely. I don't know. I think I'm blushing on this question because I'm the type of person when we even younger in our relationship and our marriage, you know, whenever I went around your family or coworkers or other individuals, I get nervous, like naturally nervous. You may not see it on my face, but I was always that person kind of like trying to study, like, okay, Walter, what should I know? Or who am I supposed to remember? Like, help your partner out. Okay. If you were that person that your memory is not the best and you kind of get nervous when having to go in public environments, even if you don't have an age gap, like you all probably need to have, we talk to our couples all the time to make sure they are prepared for these public appearances together, right? And your job is to support your partner in that. So, you know, if you see a person walking towards you and you might remember the person, but your partner might say, hey, just so you know, this is such and such. We met them last year at this event, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and their name is such and such and such and such. I'm not the name person. I'm definitely the face person. And so just help your partner out. But that can specifically be an issue when you guys, when there's a huge age gap.
Absolutely.
Really support your partner in having, you know, very healthy conversations.
Yeah, ensure that you're setting them up for success.
Absolutely. And our third one is lifestyle differences. So a young person in a relationship with someone older might encounter some problems that stem from differences in the interests, maybe the hobbies, overall mindset between them. So depending on the age difference, couples may be in different stages of life. So, for example, a 22-year-old might be interested in experiencing new things and engaging in different activities, while a 45-year-old might be interested in more a quiet lifestyle, right? Or vice versa. Maybe that 45-year-old is like, nope, I want to live my best life now. And maybe the 22-year-old, they're just kind of relaxed, But one person could be looking for, a casual relationship, while the other might be interested in something a little bit more serious and long term. So these lifestyle differences can really, they can cause you to really have to check in with each other, have some conversations, and really make sure that you guys are on the same page.
Absolutely. You don't want age to become a barrier when it comes to lifestyle differences. And those things are best discussed early on. And also too, oftentimes when we meet people, we're meeting them a lot of times in the areas of interest that we have. And so having, again, further conversations to ensure that is something that is a part of who they are. Hey, we met at a club, or we met at a paint and sip, or we met at a lecture, we met at a museum. Do you do these things often? How often do you how often do you do these types of activities?
Mhm.
So it's a really great opportunity to really make sure that you're on the same page when it comes to maybe both of you are exploratory. Maybe you met this person and you were in a bookstore.
Mhm.
And so again, it's like they like reading, they like being in quiet places. And again, making sure that it's something that is indicative of who they are rather than just making that assumption. Sometimes it can be a one-off. And a one-off it's not necessarily a part of your norm. It's just something that you were doing at that particular time. Maybe you were trying something new, or maybe it's something that you do kind of periodically. So you want to make sure that, again, when you talk about lifestyles, that you all are in alignment when it comes to the lifestyle that you want. So neither one of you is pushing one another outside of your norm of exactly what it is you want for your life direction.
Mhm.
Hey, everybody. So you're tuned in to Before I Do. Tonight, we're talking about should you date outside your age range? And we are discussing the 6 general challenges that come along with dating outside of your age range. We are going to take a brief commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Before I Do. Stay tuned, everybody.
Hey everybody, Hassani and Danielle here. I'm so excited. Look at us. Look at where we at. Look at where we at. We are at the Hilton Alpharetta, looking at this room before the incredible transformation that's about to take place on October 7th. Walls draped, stage up, lights, camera, action. And we want y'all to be there.
Are you going to be here?
Come on, get your tickets. It's October 7th. You don't want to miss this event. It is the Phoenix Awards Gala. It is our first inaugural, and we're just getting started. But we starting hot.
Oh yeah,
we jumping out this gate like never before.
We believe either you go hard or you go home.
Go hard,
we're not going to be home. We're going to be
go
in
hard
this
or go
house
home.
where you need to be.
Come on,
so let's get it.
We want to see you on October 7th. Go to get your tickets at couplesacademy.com. We'll see you there.
All right, you're tuned into Before I Do, and man, family and friends, we're asking you, get your tickets to the Phoenix Awards Gala held in Alpharetta, Georgia. Couples Academy. I mean, you want to be in the room. Networking, entertainment. We will be there. We want to see you in living color. We want to engage with you. There's going to be dancing. There's going to be celebration of relationships. You are in a relationship, whether you're in a romantic one or not. You are in a relationship with yourself. Come and celebrate you. Come and celebrate the newness in your life and the things that you're doing. And so it is a night to enjoy. And so we want to see you. We want to dress up. We want to look good. And we want to definitely just have a great time basking in the light that we all carry within us. So join us. Join us at the Phoenix Award Gala.
This is a VSOP occasion, everyone. That's a very special occasion, people. So listen, it's going to be an amazing night. This is the inaugural gala. And so we are planning on doing this on an annual basis, but you do not want to miss this gala. It is going to be not only a celebration of love and relationships, but also a great opportunity to network with other individuals.
Yes.
And so you will not want to miss it. People are coming from all over the nation for this event. And again, that's going to be on Saturday, October the 7th in Alpharetta, Georgia. We're a little less than 2 weeks away. A little more than 2 weeks away, and just found out we are near selling out.
Yes.
I'm telling you, and that's not cap. That is true. We are nearly close to selling out all of our seats. So if you are interested in attending, be sure to go to couplesacademy.org for more information and grab your tickets to the Phoenix Awards Gala.
All right. And so tonight our topic is, should I date outside of my age range, part 3. We're talking about there's 6 different areas that could be a barrier. We know there's benefits. We've been talking about the benefits, right? But we want you to be prepared, like for some of those real-time things that might pop up. How do you respond? How should you and your partner prepare for those moments?
Absolutely. So whether you're dating someone younger or older, these 6 things are usually consistent between. So these are things that you can expect, that you'll want to have conversations and make sure you have a plan to combat if you do decide to date outside of your age range. And again, we talked about the first 3, which were dealing with stereotypes, prioritizing and communication issues, and lifestyle differences. So we're going to get into our final 3 challenges. Now, challenge number 4, Family tension. Ring the bell. One of the main disadvantages of dating an older person or a younger person is the tension that it may cause between you and your family and your friends. Maybe your parents object to the relationship because maybe you dating someone that's close to their age.
Exactly.
Maybe your friends have trouble understanding the relationship, why you would date someone that is so young. And they may wonder as far as why you're even with this person. And so your family and friends, they may have questions about your motives or about their motives as far as the other person. Now, this is a tricky one because if you have a good village, if you have family that you know that loves you, if you have friends that you know that support you, they may not necessarily maybe being intrusive for your uncomfort, but they're trying to protect you. So it's important to be able to, again, have those conversations with your family and friends, be honest with them about why you're with that person. And it's not necessarily to get them to a comfortable place, but to make sure that there's a clear understanding about it. We don't want to shun our village and the individuals and the support systems that we have around us, but we also don't want to allow people that are around us that care about us to cause us to make a decision because of lack of understanding. So it's really important that we seek to get to a good place with our families and our friends, and also seek that on both sides of the relationship. So that means on your part, being understanding to your partner's family as well, knowing that they're probably dealing with the same thing with bringing you into the family fold of the relationship as well.
All right. And so our next area to definitely consider when dating outside of your age range is the circle of friends. Now, we know in social gatherings, it can be a little awkward, right? For either one of you, right? You or your partner. But when going to an event together, and we kind of talked about this, right? You want to constantly be at their side. Not that you're scared to leave or walk away, not that they're insecure, but this is just about really being a support for them. And then you're able to sustain the conversation, when they're able to sustain that conversation with your friends or, just your inner circle. Your children, elders, or whatever, they'll have that support that they need. You'll be there to kind of interject. And I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the movie and I know this movie's old, but Meet the Fockers, right? And that movie was like, it is the movie of all movies about meeting the parents and things like not really going well. I almost didn't feel like he was set up for success, right? And so just sometimes being that support and making sure that if your partner gets in trouble, I don't know, maybe they say something about politics, maybe they say something that's political or something that's socially just taboo, according to your family, at least you can kind of help to support them in that moment so they don't feel like you completely abandoned them. You got around your friends, your family, your circle, your close circle, and you just kind of left them out there on their own.
So part of what's important for this is to lean into both of these. When it comes to family and friends, a lot of times when you have those age differences, one party will pull away, or you may be reluctant to even bring your love interests around because you're concerned about the criticism. You're concerned about their ability to be able to connect. And it's important to get that uncomfortable, to get that out of the way as soon as possible. Yes, this is the person that I'm dating right now. Yes, there is an age gap, and we're going to search and all work together to make sure that we're able to find a common ground and that we're on a clear level and plane of understanding. And the sooner you do that, the better. The longer you delay and try to avoid it, the harder and harder it becomes, and the more animosity that is built because of the fear of the unknown.
Absolutely. You need to be proactive instead of reactive.
Absolutely.
Right? Set the tone for your loved ones, your friends. Let them know too that, respecting your partner and your choice is respecting you. Right? Not respecting your partner is not respecting you. And so when you make that very clear up front, they'll kind of know how to govern themselves and how to, and that way they'll come to you. If they say, look, we have some red flags, we have some concerns, they will bring those concerns to you instead of really pretty much making your partner audition for them.
And what you just said, I think speaks to Laquita's comment, which is meeting the family is a struggle. And we know that meeting the family is a struggle, regardless of whether you're the same age, a younger person, an older person, because you're introducing this person to your foundation. And that isn't always going to be comfortable. And I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial, nor should it be. It should not always be comfortable, because again, you want to make sure that the individuals that are Team Charmaine or that are Team Walter are vetting whoever you're potentially bringing into the fold. And also, when you really like somebody, when you love them, sometimes there are things about that person that you don't really see, because you got jaded vision. You got rose-colored glasses on, right? But when you bring them around people that know you and that love you, they may be able to see some things that you may not necessarily be able to see. It's not always hate, but sometimes it's just objectiveness because of the position that they're in. So making sure that you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Oh yeah, like for example, hey, ladies, I love you. Okay. I'm going to take you aside and have a sidebar. If I see that you're dating someone and let's say we pull up to the gas station, you know, they're driving a car, possibly you letting them drive your car, but that's a whole nother conversation. Okay. And then he expects you to get out of the car to pump gas while he's doing what? You know, I've seen situations like that where, okay, and it's not that you can't pump your own gas or they can't pump gas, but the bottom line is, are you dating somebody that's treating you like the queen that you are? Are you leading that work? Are you being a leader in that work? And I definitely, you know, I encourage women, you have to be the leader in the work and loving yourself. And so that you can show anyone that you choose to date or anyone that chooses to be in a relationship with you what the expectations are and what the standard is. And I will say this kind of happened to me and I was shocked when it did, because it was so like impulsive. Remember when you and I were dating in college, right? And an aunt who I love dearly, she made a comment, you know, about Walter and his weight. You know, and this was kind of like a history or a pattern that happened on my dad's side of the family. But anyway, she made a comment about Walter and his weight in front of me and in front of him. And so I had a decision to make at that point. Like, we have this code. I checked my family. He checked his family. And we didn't even have that code at that point. But either way, it naturally happened where I checked her on the spot and I was like, yeah, no. And then I was like, okay, have you looked in the mirror as well? Like, you know, we're not going to do that. And so I don't even remember what I said in the moment, but I know she knew that was not going to be accepted and that she needed to correct her mouth. And I wasn't going to let her be reckless with her mouth, because Walter, he is definitely a gentleman. He would have never disrespected my aunt. But it's very important when you are around your family. I'm sorry, you guys talk about what the rules are. I check my family, he checks his family, and not really being passive in those areas, because when you let things slide and let them go, they only get worse. They do not get better. And people's behavior, you only affirm the bad behavior. And you validate that it's okay for them to behave the way they're behaving when you don't check it.
And those things will absolutely carry over into your relationship and only get worse as you all go on. So lastly, and this is a really important one, you must take into consideration the aging, the difference that is between you. And so if your mate is near retirement and has already raised children, they may not be interested in starting a family. And so this is something that you should seriously consider if you want a family of your own. And also, if you have a long-term committed relationship with an older partner, there is a possibility that maybe you will outlive them. And if you do not, are you prepared to become the caretaker of your partner? Is that something that you would be open to doing? And so again, these are, and it may be very morbid and uncomfortable to have these conversations, but that does not make them any less important. It is so important to have these conversations early on, to make sure that there is long-term care and plans that are available, especially when there is an age difference, and really thinking about what does end of life look like as far as when it comes to the relationship? What type of bearing does it have on it?
Right. End of life planning is so
Yes.
important. And it doesn't mean that because you're young, you're not going to have any health crisis, or you're not going to be the one in that position, right? And that your partner who's older than you will be the one needing to care for you. But, you know, again, the natural progression, that is the one thing that we all have in common. We are aging.
Yeah.
We're aging. Everyone has that in common, right? And so these are all things we need to take into consideration. I mean, and really just making sure we're taking care of our health in general, whether you're 20, 30, 40, because, you know, you want to make sure that you're able to come to the relationship healthy, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
So one thing I can say about Charmaine, I tease her about it, but it is a very important thing when it comes to relationships. Charmaine is the queen of hypotheticals. So she is preparing for the worst case scenario, and it is really uncomfortable, but it's true. And so some really important, like, guiding questions that she'll ask: what happens in a relationship when sex is off the table?
I do.
What happens when you have to become
Intercourse
your partner's?
specifically.
What happens when you have to become your partner's caretaker? What happens again? Is this someone that if they were not able to take care of themselves, if they got in an accident and they were paralyzed and they needed you to take care of them, what would that impact how you would feel about them?
Absolutely.
And those are things that are so important to really ask, especially again when you got a dynamic, when you got an age difference, and really having those conversations and thinking through that while you are getting to know someone and thinking about your long-term plan is so important.
You know, and I've heard women share that they have dated a gentleman, they have dated a guy who they've asked those questions to, like, you know, what were to happen if I were to get in an accident, and, you know, maybe I was wheelchair bound, and in respect to the guy was like, yeah, I didn't sign up for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded cold. It sounded very blunt. It sounded rude at the time. But I said, you know what? You have to respect the fact that at least he's telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
At least most people will be politically correct and just say the nice thing. But no, the person said pretty much, no, I didn't sign up for that. And I just can't see myself staying in a relationship. Well, hey, respect the truth, but know that this is what you're dealing with, right? This wouldn't be a person that you want to start a family with. You might not want to marry this person, like, because again, they're not really team you. They're not 100% team your last name yet. And so you just want to be mindful of that. You know, respect what people say. And if they're not if they're not all in for you, then yeah, that's not a person you want to build your life with, or at least build to start parenting, where you're going to have a 25 plus year relationship with this person. You don't want to start that there.
And bear in mind that in every relationship, even in the relationship with yourself, there are going to be some challenges. There are going to be some difficulties. There are going to be some problems. And so the question becomes, which problems and which issues do you want to deal with? You do often get a choice. Sometimes we don't get a choice. But when it comes to our relationship with other people, you do get a choice a lot of times of which problems and issues do you want to deal with. And so, you know, it's very important that you take the time to ask those questions, contemplate them within yourself when you're looking at and measuring kind of what this person brings to the table, how they make you better. So really considering those things. So again, this is not to steer you away from dating anyone outside of your age range, but this is just being candid about some of the things that you will want to think through and consider when you consider dating outside of your age range.
Absolutely.
Hey, y'all, thank you so much. This has been a really great series. We really enjoyed this. And so, yeah, we will be coming back next week. It's the end of the month, so y'all know what that means. It's the Speak Now Q&A night. So be sure to join us next week as we go into our Speak Now. We are here answering your questions. These are real questions from real people. So go ahead and get them in. You can text your questions to 678-200-8996. Or you could just come in live next week, and we will absolutely be willing and ready and able to answer them. Hey, everybody, be sure to check us out at couplesacademy.org and be sure to join us for the first ever Phoenix Awards Gala on Saturday, October the 7th. Get your seat, get your ticket, because it is moving towards sell out status, and we will be there, and we love to see you there as well.
All right. And so in this episode of Before I Do, we just again want you to encourage you. If you are right now, you're in a relationship, you have more than the 10-year gap, again, be confident, get to know your partner, and make sure that as you call this person your partner, make sure you're confident in it and that you embrace it. People will be as happy as you are for your own relationship. They will be, they will celebrate you if you're celebrating you. And if you're not celebrating you, then they won't celebrate you either. And so thank you for tuning in to Before I Do. My name is Charmaine Jennings.
My name is Walter Jennings. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.